7 o'clock on a Monday. You know exactly what that means. It's Trust the Process Live. Josh Safran in the hosting seat today, while that guy Banners, he's behind the scenes. We got Makai and Max Digits on our show. Makai, let me come to you first. You know, it's always me first. I've kind of gotten used to it, so I get the decisions now. Makai, man, what have you been up to, man? What's a guy like you been doing this summer?
Oh well, I've been focusing on the Phillies. I've loved this
There you
9 game
go.
streak we was on. I loved it. Went to one game. Went to one game on Saturday. Felt good. Felt good. Loved it.
Yeah, I was
Besides that,
also
I've just been relaxing.
just been relaxing. Have you gotten in any trouble this summer, Makai? A guy like you's got to get into some trouble. I never got into any trouble in the summer.
Nah, I'm focusing on. I need to buy a car. That's what I'm focusing on. Trying to buy a car. Just got my
Oh
license.
man!
Trying to focus on
All
getting
right,
the car now.
I'm ready for that episode. The Makai got a car episode. Man, is that a nice
Car
feeling?
wash. Car wash for the summer now.
Yes, sir. Digits, man. Quick updates. I mean, what's been going on with you? Any shenanigans?
Just had a little mix up with the plumbing last week, but we're all good. We're back on
Oh,
track, so that would qualify as shenanigans. But yeah, we're past that. We're on to Cincinnati, and let's talk about a fun week in Phillies baseball.
yeah, yeah. By the way, I love the as I get older and this show gets older, it's just so fun to see look at the difference between 19 and 29 right here between this three-guy panel. Here we got Makai looking to get a car, we got Digits having plumbing troubles, and you got me searching for a job. You check all the boxes right there.
It's come
But
full
we gotta
circle
talk.
for me.
Yeah,
Perfect.
seriously, man, seriously. But you know what? Enough about us. That's 2 minutes. That's a little too much time to talk about our personal lives because we got to talk about the fight-ins. But to circle it back to our personal lives, I think everyone owes Mr. Max Coolish a bit of a thank you for this Phillies run, because this run all started when Max goes, fellas, it's the summer, the Phillies suck. Why don't we have a segment where we talk about the worst loss of the last week? Since that idea of that segment has come, this is our third show, and we have our finally one loss to talk about. That was yesterday. We are not doing the worst loss of since the last show segment, but I just wanted to point out, Digits, since that segment.
Yesterday was pretty ugly.
Yesterday was pretty ugly, but you know what?
Runaway
It
winner
was
for the last
it was a rough one.
Yeah. It's been a rough one. So we've had sustained success. What are we? 1-9 straight, 9 of the last 10. Sustained success. There's got to be a how. There's got to be a why. So before we get into our favorite win of the stretch, Makai, I want you to lead us off today. It's hard to find it, especially in baseball. But what do you think has been the real driving force of this win streak and just the team's overall success?
I'm see. Yeah, like you said, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but I'm just gonna say the passion. They have passion now. They're ready. They're excited. They want to win at this point. I know yesterday was an ugly one, but it's 9 games. We're not expecting them to win the rest of the game of the season. They won 9 out of the last 10. I'll take that. I'll take that personally. But I just think is they had the heart to win now. The young guys stepping up, the old guys stepping up. Everyone's just making a big step up right now. So yeah, that's what I think it is.
Digits, what do we got?
I mean, for me, it feels a lot like it's timely hitting. Ultimately, like a lot of these wins have
Good
been,
call.
there have been some some outright no brainers, like never really worried about them games, which are always they're always nice to watch. But on the other hand, like the Phillies have had some big hits with 2 outs with late in innings. Hell, even just getting the ever so random like 2 out solo home run, just kind of giving yourself some sort of lifeline to keep yourself hanging around in games. It feels like they haven't had to do that as much, but even in big wins, timely hitting is everything. Like you have to convert when people are on base, and it feels like in this last stretch run, it feels like they're getting the guys who make it to base home. They're not just simply relying on home runs all the time.
Yeah. I think you two, kind of said it succinctly there. I'll touch on both. Makai, first off, the passion. There was an article right before Girardi, and I can't remember who wrote it, but it was talking to like players' parents, talking to players' brothers and nephews, and they were saying that they had never seen their family member that miserable playing the game they loved. And I think you hit something there with the passion. And I don't want to put it all in Girardi. I think that's low-hanging fruit there, but there's something about the passion and the intangibles The other thing I have noticed, and I checked the numbers don't support it tremendously, but I do think their two-strike approach has been a real upgrade for this team. And the broadcasts have done a nice job of spotlighting it, but you see it with Stott and Bryce mostly, where the no stride two-strike approach has really made a difference. And Bryson Stott hit a 3-run shot on Saturday on a two-strike count that, fellas, I was at that game off the bat. Everyone stands up. I'm like, what are you idiots doing? And it just kept going. And it kept going. And it barely made it over the fence.
Sitting down. That's what everyone else was thinking.
Exactly. And look, I checked after the game. That would have been a home run in only 1 out of 30 ballparks. And it was only a home run in Citizens Bank Park. So go figure. The other thing I think, and it's going to sound dumb, but I do think there's a lot to it. Winning has helped them win more. Like, of course, that's an obvious. But you're seeing it across the league right now. You're getting to that point in the season where you play enough games that the teams will get hot, teams will get cold, and the cream will rise. Once the Phillies won those first 3, it was an utter belief in themselves. And I think, Makai, that's what you were getting at, where there's that passion, there's that belief in yourself. So I say that all to say, and I will lead off this segment. What was your favorite win of the stretch? And I think I'll piggyback off myself here, where I say it was that Brewers game, boys. And I missed that entire game. I was PIAA state semifinal play-by-play. Don't mind me. I rushed home an hour away just in time to see the top of the 9th of that game. And I've been keeping tabs, and I'm like, man, I rushed home just to see haters shut the door. Come on. Bohm, Vierling in the same inning to push the team into the lead and win the game. That is something that would have never happened earlier in the year. And that's what I mean, where these guys are now believing that they can do it. I was at the game yesterday. I actually went to every game this series, and they were down like 7-1. And I'm there like, oh, Stott will hit a 3-run shot. Like they'll come back. Obviously they didn't, but it's just that belief from the fans and from the team. So Digits, real quick here, what was your favorite win of this stretch?
Man, I'm inclined to agree with your Brewers game, but since you already talked about it, I will go with the Brewers game from the next night, where they just absolutely destroyed the Brewers 10-0. Aaron Nola, this is really the reason why I'm picking it, is the Aaron Nola pitched the lights out of that game. Phillies hit 4 home runs. Just like I said, I've been very vocal about this. I enjoy a nice, relaxing baseball game. I like watching my team beat up on the other team and never really stressing. That's what this was.
Kai, what do you got? What was your favorite?
That's going to be the game I attended Saturday against the Diamondbacks, I believe.
Yes,
we won 4-0. We had Zach Wheeler back. Yeah, that was a pretty good game. That was maybe my favorite game because I attended it. I got to watch it in person.
Yeah, I think that adds up.
I'm with you, Makai, and I went to every game this series. It was a blast. The buzz is officially back at the ballpark, and there's something to be said about that 4-0 game where you just watch a pitching clinic. And Digits, I get what you're saying, but I kind of disagree. Like, I like that stress. Like, I like that intensity, that close game. And I think Saturday was a perfect mix of okay, we're on cruise control, and then later in the game, you're like, oh man, they brought in Familia, but they closed it out. Pretty good stuff, fellas. Looking ahead here, not looking ahead, or I guess looking back at this last stretch and looking around the league. Bottom line is this: the Phillies just won 9 straight. The Braves have a streak that is still going. I think they've won 10 straight, and the Mets have still been hot. The Mets have still been hot as well. All of that. What was it? The 9-game winning streak. Phillies only moved up 3.5 games in the NL East. It's a sad truth. So Digits, I'll start with you here. What do you think about the other teams winning? Does it take away some of the sweetness of your streak, or are you able to focus in on the Phillies?
No, absolutely not. It's still it's still early enough where division races haven't been decided. I think at this point you can kind of start to figure out how serious teams are. Excuse me, something's flying around in my room. I think you can kind of get to gauge how quality teams are. Like the Braves looked dead a month ago. And obviously they're on the biggest winning streak in baseball. So the Mets have looked worse in the last week than they have in quite a while. Baseball is such a week-to-week sport until it's a game-to-game sport, as weird as that sounds, right? Until the last 30 to 45 games, it's just a week-to-week sport. Who's hot, who's cold, who has pitchers, who has hot bats, right? Like it sounds all very cliche, but that's kind of the truth of it. So I think that it doesn't outshine the shine that I took from this, which is that the Phillies are not dead. They responded how I needed to see them respond to firing their manager, who was a bit of a mopey guy at this point in his tenure in Philadelphia. So they responded with positivity and with energy. If they came out and they lost 9 in a row, like I wouldn't be watching another Phillies game this year. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's the salvation of a season. So nothing another team does can outshine me believing that my team has revived itself from being dead in the water.
That's well put. I think that's kind of the tone of most of these fans as we sit here today on Monday. Makai, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, Max pretty much. Yeah, Max pretty much got it right there. I mean, it's our Phillies, so no one can outshine what our Phillies did. It's more of a like if it's my team doing it, I care more than any other team right now. We won 9 straight, so that's my team. No one else is doing better. I don't care how many games you won. My team won 9 straight, so I feel as though the Mets, the Braves, they don't outshine what we did, especially after what we've been going through. After it's been like a long up and down season, that 9-game win streak is something that we really needed.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's a given, right? If we're starting the proof here, that's the given is how much this team needed the 9-game win streak. And look, I'm not sour. I'm not like it's not that I can't enjoy the 9-game win streak, but I do think you got to look around, right? And at this point in the season, it's more important to stockpile wins than anything. But that Braves team, I think, myself included, beginning of the season, not that I literally forgot that they were World Series champions, but it's kind of like, you had your World Series last year. Look, you lost Freeman. See you, Braves. Like, good luck. Try again next year. You had your World Series title. I do think that it is important to look around. The Giants are still hot. You're facing a Marlins team that is also hot. The entire NL East is hot. I think this series right now is huge for the Rob Thompson era. And yes, you did just win 9 straight, but the bottom line is you are only a 500 ball club. And I'm not trying to move the goalpost. Like I talked about that last week, is don't move the goalpost. But as sweet as this winning streak was, we've seen this with the Phillies. Remember last year they won 8 games straight. Then they went to Arizona and got swept. That might have been a 4-game series or something like that. And they went right back into their losing ways. So I am not saying necessarily it took away the sweetness, but I am cautious, right? Because it's not like the Phillies just gained all this ground in the NL East and all of a sudden we're talking about winning the East. Like, no, the Mets are still ahead, and if anything, the Braves should be talking about winning the NL East right now. I'm also not pumping the brakes. What I'm saying is this series against the Marlins is paramount. Marlins scoreless through the first frame, in case you two were wondering.
I've been checking on it.
Oh yeah. That's how you know it's back. When you can't be going an inning without just, you got to know. But I'm just saying, Max, I know you and I have really harped on this in the past. It's the Marlins. If this team wants to make the playoffs,
that's what I was just going to say. Like you said, this series is huge. Like you got to kick the boogeyman here, right? Like you have to. Like this is your best chance to do it. I guess not your best chance to do it. I guess this is. Oh no, this is at home. My bad. I thought this was in Miami. You have to do this. This is at home. You're coming off a huge weekend. Like the buzz was back this week, and you were there, Josh. You firsthand account out of the 3 days you were there. Buzz is back officially.
Buzz is officially back, man.
That's what I mean. Like, sure, you took one on the chin yesterday at home, but that wasn't a heartbreaking loss. The Phillies after 1 inning were down 3-0 off 1 hit. The Diamondbacks got 1 hit in the first inning yesterday and scored 3 runs. Like that's just a game where you kind of know, not know immediately, but early on it's pretty easy to tell. Like today's just not your day. This wasn't a collapse. This wasn't a heartbreaking ninth inning rally or just something crazy happening. Like they got killed yesterday. Like it's an easy mental reset, I guess, is where I'm coming from. So what you need to do is you need to kick the boogeyman here. You need to bounce back. You need to show me that you have some mental toughness now. Like I was willing for a while to say Girardi has, a sizable portion of the blame about the mental toughness of this team because he didn't really show me any fire. That guy's gone now. I need the player. This is the series I need to see the players take some mental responsibility and like really respond. Like, like you said, don't ride your heart, don't ride the highs. You lost by 12 runs yesterday, embarrassingly at home. That should be your focus, not the fact that you won 9 in a row prior to that. So I need at least a series win here. A series sweep here has me feeling insanely good about the Phillies. Just the overall direction and vibes of the team. We do the vibes check with baseball. The vibes would be very high, at least after a series win against the Marlins.
Yeah, I need back-to-back series wins. I'm not thinking sweep for a second. I think because Max, you said it really well. They don't put a banner up for a 9-game win streak. All right, you got to show that. I don't want this to be the 9-game win streak. I want this to be the stretch where the Phillies won 14 of 16 or something like that. And here's the opportunity to do it. You got the Marlins right in front of you, and you got the Nationals right after that for the first time this season. Yes, I do think it's important. You look around. I don't throw a parade for a 9-game win streak. Enjoy it, but let's remember that 9-game win streak got you back to 500 digits. I think you put it very nicely that it was a series-saving 9-game win streak. But now it's time. We're up there now. We're in the wild card talk. Let's act like it. Let's not throw a parade for 9 games. We're back at it this week against the Marlins.
Yeah, if you want to compete for anything serious, you have to beat the teams out that you're competing for a wild card spot for. If you can't beat the Marlins at home in a series, you don't deserve that third wild card spot. They do. Seriously.
No, absolutely. And so do the Giants, who will surely be breathing down the Phillies' neck all damn year. Gentlemen, that'll wrap it up for the Phillies today. We got to be talking trades and stuff next week. Believe it or not, the time has already come upon us. I thought about it today, but vibes are too high. I can't be talking about dishing anyone right now. Max, Mackay, real quick. What's that? What's that, digits?
The trade deadline's next week already. God damn.
No, not next week. I think you want to get I want to get the buzz going. I want to get the buzz going.
Okay. You scared me for a second.
Yeah, no. Not that late. Not that late.
As you were.
As I was. Boys, the Phillies are the talk of the town right now, but they might be playing too well to generate enthralling discussions at the moment. So I had to go back to the logo on Max's sweatshirt, the beloved team of the city, even when the Phillies are on the 9-game win streak. It's been a while. It's really been a while since we've chatted.
Been a couple weeks, and that's a while.
So, gentlemen, I want to start dipping our toes into the Eagles, at least like a question a week until training camp season comes and we really ramp it up. Position group, gents, we have a very revamped roster. I don't know if you guys were watching Sunday Night Baseball last night. Trout was mic'd up, and he went on a whole tangent hyping Howie up. Mic'd up during Sunday Night Baseball.
I saw the clip.
Yeah. Awkward interview, but I like that part. Anyways, this Eagles roster this season, very new teams, very improved teams, strongest and weakest position groups. That is the prompt, and I want to start with the weakest position group on this
weakest
roster, where we stand today. Mackay, am I back? Am I back, gents?
Yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
All right,
go for it.
You want me to start?
Yeah. He said.
Yeah, go ahead, Mackay.
Okay. All right. So we're doing weakest. All right. So it's still. I've been thinking about this for a while. I want to say the linebacker core. But matter of fact, I'm gonna go with the linebacker core. It's still even with the addition of was it Kazir Walker from the Chargers? Even with that addition, Kazir White. I still feel as though that's still like the weakest part of the team. It's still the linebackers. I know Alex Singleton showed up a little bit last year, but them linebackers are still not what we want. And with our new draft pick we got, I know we drafted a linebacker too, who fell to the third round. I just think the linebackers. It's either the linebackers or the safeties.
Now I hear you, right? Because I think right now the team is pretty solid top to bottom, so it is hard to find a position. But the thing with the linebackers right now, don't forget about Hassan Reddick, Mackay, because the way that this team
we move him to an edge rusher.
So the jury is still out on that one, but the way things seem to be now is that the talk around the town is the Eagles might be moving to a 3-4, and Hassan Reddick will be playing that rushing linebacker position. So I get what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I want to talk about this, because so much has changed. Like Alex Singleton isn't even on the team anymore, right? So much of this roster has changed, and I do think linebacker is one of the weaker positions. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's things are looking up. Digits. What do you got for weakest?
I wanted to say defensive end in the sense of getting to the quarterback. Like, yes, I know they added Hassan Reddick, but I don't know. It feels like I don't know. I guess I'm not as high on Josh Sweat as other people might be. It kind of felt like last year was like his ceiling, and hopefully I'm wrong on that. I think there's a world where him and Reddick are a really good duo, but that's kind of my worry. Is Hassan Reddick going to be a 4-3 defensive end for us? Are we switching our whole defensive scheme around? I'm not really sure what to do, but ultimately I think the issue that comes to my mind is how are we going to get to the quarterback consistently? So I think I'll lean that way. I like what they did at linebacker. I think that they did as much as they could, at a position that's not really premium anymore. So I think I'm going to lean towards, I guess, defensive end / quarterback pressure.
Yeah. I got to agree with you here, man. I almost went with this myself because I think as Eagles fans, we are so accustomed over the last feels like since I've been alive that you've got one of the better defensive lines in the entire league. And this is the first year where I just don't have that confidence, right? I mean, you're getting Brandon Graham off a torn Achilles. You're getting, I don't want to say
I have confidence in the defensive tackles.
Now
Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, and Jordan Davis. That's a and Millen Williams. Like, that's a really, really good top 4 defensive tackle rotation. Really good. Probably the best in the NFL.
I don't know, man. I don't have faith in Fletch and Hargrave. I think that's my thing. Like, I think they will be better than replacement, right? But for years, the calling card of this team has been that stout front four, and I just am not banking on that this year. I'll put it that way. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I'm not putting my faith in a torn Achilles Brandon Graham close to wash Fletcher Cox, and then you got Derek Barnett back there again this year. I'm cautious, man. Fellas, moving on. I'm gonna give out my weakest group. It's the safeties. I think that's a unanimous. It's just the safeties, right? Like, I don't know Marcus Epps and Anthony Harris. I don't think they're gonna ruin the team or anything like that. I don't think they're gonna be a cause
I think Epps can be decent. I'm a believer in Epps, but Anthony Harris definitely leaves something to be desired for sure.
Yeah, and then you step it back. I do think Kevon Wallace could be something. I have no idea who the hell Jared Maiden is. He's currently the backup free safety for this team. I think the safety position can get a little bit testy, especially if you get one injury, right? Because look, a Kevon Wallace Epps safety duo, I'm like, all right, that can get it done, but I don't know who the hell these guys are. I'm just a little bit cautious on that one. The safety position group coming back around digits, strongest position group of this team. Who are you going with?
I'll take the easy one. I'll say offensive line. What else is there to say? Best in the league last year, full continuity coming back, depth to boot. What's not to love?
Yeah, man. I think the biggest part of that you just mentioned is depth to boot. Because I was looking at it today, and I was just a little bit cautious about like Isaac Seumalo, right? He's just, exactly what you're getting. He's like the Kyle Gibson of offensive linemen, right? He'll give you 5 innings. It's not going to be he's not winning Cy Young or anything like that. But then I started thinking about the backups, right? And you got guys like Landon Dickerson, who he's going to be starting, but you can move him around just about anywhere. Jack Driscoll, he can fit in. Sua Opeta, now Cam Jurgens. So that's a great call out, a classic staple of this Eagles team. Kai, where are you going? Strongest position group on the Birds?
I'm taking a receiving core.
Oh my God! Whoa!
I'm taking my receiving core. I love this receiving core. I had to take it.
Expound on it, Makai. Expound.
Okay, so we just picked up AJ Brown. I'm terrible with names today. AJ Brown. We got Devonta Smith.
Both colors, like that's an easy mix-up.
It's true.
Devonta Smith, and we got the speedy Quez Watkins. What you point to me what's wrong with that lineup? If you send your best corner on AJ Brown, you're leaving Devonta Smith open, or you're leaving that deep ball to Quez Watkins. You stack your best corner on Devonta Smith. You got AJ Brown and Quez Watkins open. There's like no way that you're able to stop all three of those receivers. It's just that then it just lies with our quarterback. That's the only iffy thing is the quarterback. If
That's
Jalen
what
Hurts
Josh is about to say. Josh is about to blow the roof off.
if Jalen Hurts can get the ball to our receivers, then we're set.
Man, oh man, you better believe he can get those balls to the receiver this year. You kidding me? Kai, I want to keep going with your point real quick here because I just pulled up the depth chart and you listed 3 of the receivers there, and I think you got me thinking here. Just the way that this receiving room is built, it's very balanced. And you didn't even name Zach Pascal, who as a wide receiver 4 or a wide receiver.
Zach Pascal. I forgot about
exactly.
him. We got him so early in free agency.
They got depth this year too. You also got Greg Ward, who, listen, is he good? No. But is he a good wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6? Absolutely. And you know the way the NFL works is these guys are going to have to play. And how about the big buzz name so far of early camp? Devin Kane, anybody? I'm not putting any stock into it, but just bookmark it. He's been making a lot of buzz so far during these OTAs. So 150%. 100% this year's Paul Turner. Yes, absolutely. Go. And
I'm in.
They also had that guy who just set the record for the hurdles or whatever. So I can't remember.
Devon Allen, I think his name is.
I was just looking at that clip not like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess technically he counts as a receiver, even though I'm excited for him. Like, maybe this is me playing too much Madden as a kid, but you just always put the fastest guy at punt return and kick return. Like, whoever's the fastest on your team, as long as they're a skill position player, put him there, and it doesn't matter anything else. So hopefully the Eagles do this the tried and true 99 speed kick return strategy. That'd be sick to watch him return one. I'm hoping it works out.
Yeah, me too, man. I think they can get one of these guys to return kicks because it just feels like since Deshaun Jackson's prime, this team has not had a good returner, either kicking
We've
or
never
punting.
had good special teams returns.
Sproles. I take myself back on that one. I forgot about the Darren Sproles run.
Sproles was good. But Sproles didn't have Sproles wasn't like a true home run threat. Like Sproles was always good for like a 6-yard punt return because he knew he was really smart in how he approached it, and he still was a good enough player to like create space. But he was past his you're think about like all the craziest punt return touchdowns you've ever seen. Darren Sproles was past that point.
Yeah, no house calls for him. I hear you.
Exactly.
You got me juiced up though, man. Like I am ready to watch these receivers. I don't think in my whole life you could make the argument that the Eagles receiving core is the best part of their team. So this is a refreshing change.
Not even.
I have faith in them. You got
Digits is that fair? Is that fair? Like the receiving core has never been the best part of their team.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
What?
Yeah.
And then can you add Dallas Goedert into that too?
I mean,
I guess technically, if you're going receiving corpse, yeah,
you would add him. Man.
Now, okay, wait. I'm going to continue this trend here because this is going to be an interesting season, fellas. I think we're going to see, hopefully, we're going to see things that I personally am not accustomed to because this year I think the strongest part of this team is their cornerback room. Oh, Max is ready for it. Max is ready for it. He thought he was going to say quarterback. No, sir. I'm going cornerback. I'm saving.
You got me, Josh.
I'm saving all of my Jalen Hurts stuff until I get tape, man. Give me Jalen Hurts in preseason game number 1, and I'm firing on all cylinders. But I'm trying to hold back until we get there. Cornerback room. I've never seen this team's cornerback room look this good. I've never seen this team's receiver room look that good. And I'll take the Mekhi ride here. And let me just list you those 3 main starters here. Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox. Are you kidding me? I mean, I think I would take those 3 cornerbacks up against just about anyone in the NFL, say, aside for the, like the Rams or something like that. Seriously. I just think last year, the biggest problem with this team defensively, it's not, you don't need me to tell you, it's just that soft defense, giving offense whatever they wanted, but in between the first down markers. I think we're going to see a big change this year. And, the safeties last year did a nice job of not giving up the big play. And, I obviously have my qualms with the safeties, but if they're able to not give up the big play and the cornerbacks are able to take away more in the 1 to 10 yard pass range, this this is going to be trouble for some of those defenses. And you look down the schedule this year, it's hard to find teams that have a real solid receiving core 1 through 3. Like it's if you were to match up the Eagles cornerbacks 1 through 3 with wide receivers 1 through 3, and obviously that's not how it works, and that's how any given Sunday, but you'd be hard pressed to pick anyone over the Eagles, especially like you get week 1 against the Lions. I'm licking my chops to see how that secondary looks against Jared Goff, and like, oh man, Amon Ross, St. Brown looked really good last year. Let's see what he does against Darius Slay and James Bradbury, right? So feeling pretty damn good, fellas. Any parting comments on these position groups, gents?
Trust in our receivers and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I think the consensus, Makai, that you've put out there, I can't wait. Everyone's like, oh, team's good. It's all if the quarterback can put it together. Yeah, just you wait. Just you freaking wait. He's going to put it together. Did you see the picture of Jalen Hurts this year compared to last year, either of you?
Yeah,
he got strong.
Rare breed.
He's built now.
Rare breed.
We'll see.
Oh, we'll be seeing all right. I'm excited. So, fellas, that's gonna do it for our main event today. But I've been thinking about this question for a little while. I've just been bouncing it back and forth in my head, and I've got the halftime hypothetical ready for you gentlemen. We will debate, and you'll have to pick a side here. Today's halftime hypothetical is as follows. If the 76ers, we're going to basketball, the 76ers organization had chosen Jimmy Butler over Ben Simmons / Tobias Harris, it was really Ben Simmons, but you know, then would we have had a parade in Philadelphia, including this year over the last 4 years? Do you believe? Let it sit. Let it mull it over. Digits? What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
I don't know. I was. It's so hard to do this in hindsight. I think my gut just tells me that it wouldn't have happened because that team was in not the best spot. I guess with all the extra finances that would have been available, you can kind of fill it out a little bit better than what that iteration of the Sixers ended up being. But I don't know. I just don't think that team would have been better than the Lakers in the bubble or the Bucks last year, or was the team that I'm missing? No one, right? Yes, no. I
guess this year counts too. I'm counting this year as well.
Yeah. The Bucks was last year. Who won the year after the bubble?
After the bubble was the Bucks.
Yeah, it's only been
this year's final was the first final after the bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay.
2021.
I'm not tripping. Okay, then yeah, like I don't think that 76ers team like would have been better than that LeBron Laker team or the Bucks team last year.
Kai, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to agree. I don't see the team. I don't see that team being better than in any of those last 4 final teams. Or last 4 final teams. I don't see the Sixers. I don't see them with Jimmy Butler or Ben Simmons. I don't see them with either, to be honest. I feel as though Ben Simmons, if we're counting Ben Simmons the way he plays or the way he's supposed to play, then it's just a different story. But if the way he played counted, then no, I don't see a parade coming. If the way he's supposed to play, then of course I see a parade coming.
Well, Makai, the hypothetical would be Jimmy Butler and no Ben Simmons.
Oh, then yeah, still no. That's even worse. That's to me that's even worse.
Why is that?
Because at that time, we wouldn't have a point guard. Who would be our point guard at that time? Who do we have at point guard?
Well, that's the thing, right? It is a tough hypothetical, right? Because then you got to fill out everything else about it. The thing, though, for me was just watching this Eastern Conference Finals, right? Watching the Heat, who, in Max, and I know you were with me for most of the season, the Heat, who like just shouldn't have kept winning the way they were, and it just felt at every turn it was James Butler who was propelling them to win. And sure, some of Joel Embiid's Twitter, babiness, just talking about how much he loves Jimmy Butler, really got thinking about this a bit more. But I'm inclined to fall into the camp that there would have been a parade down Broad Street if the 76ers just talked with Jimmy Butler. And hand up, I was the loudest voice in the room. Jimmy Butler, when it was time for him to resign, I was saying, hell no. Get that guy out of here. I don't want anything to do with it. What we've seen the last 2 years has just been purgatory, right? And Jimmy Butler, you at least would have chosen a heaven or hell and stuck with it, man. And the way that Jimmy Butler's played for all his antics, for all his shenanigans, and all his phony alpha shit that I like to call it, he's getting results, man. And I think him paired with Embiid over the last 3 or 4 years, I think they would have been able to get it done. Real quick before we move on, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's a coaching thing. Like the Miami hung with the Celtics when they had no business to, because Eric Spoelstra had them mostly like Miami's team defense was, I think, the second best in the whole playoffs after the Celtics. The Celtics played really, really good team defense, as we've seen in these finals.
Right.
At this point, I think the Heat. I think the reason those games were so close was because those teams play such a similar style. But, like, yes, Jimmy Butler was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Jimmy Butler also had nobody to defect to, like, when it would matter. Like, nobody else on that team could make a shot with Tyler Hero not playing. I think with the Sixers it would be a little bit different. And also I think coach. My original point was ultimately it comes down to coaching, and Doc Rivers with Jimmy Butler. It's not like Jimmy Butler would be the fix to Doc Rivers. So I don't know. I don't buy it.
That's actually, I think you make a really good point, because I don't know, just the way that I watch sports, the way that I view it, I never put too much into the coach, no matter what, unless it's like college sports, because then they recruit, right? Like, so that's a really good point. I think I lose sight of that sometimes, where not like I obviously I give Spoelstra the credit he deserves, but it's like, yeah, I mean, Doc Rivers, insert anyone here, are they really going to make it work with Jimmy Butler? So look, I still believe it, right? I still think this team with a guy like Jimmy gets it done, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a good point with the coaching. We got 2 no's, 1 yes. I thought one of you would have said yes here, but Max, I think you're right. I think I'm looking at it more in this year, right, where I'm like, man, the Warriors team, they're good. The Celtics team, they're really good, but I just got to believe that an Embiid-Butler combo and you fill in the rest there, I think I'd take them over these teams right now. I don't know, man.
I think they could have gone farther than they have in the last couple of years if Jimmy Butler was a secondary piece to Embiid, but
still not enough.
I'm having a hard time seeing them get over the finish line still.
Yeah, it's so frustrating watching these finals, and you really just think about the Sixers, and you're like, man, they'd get swept. They would have gotten swept in these finals. It's not even close. Fellas, we're going to move on here. We got half rapid fire, half rankings, and I did want to get back to another top 5 list, but the way that the finals are going, we could come around Monday and they could be over. So I did want to have a check-in, a game 5.
I guess, yeah. It probably will be over by next Monday, right? Isn't next Sunday the last game?
Dude, you know how the finals work. They play like 1 game a week, So yeah, it is Sunday. Sunday will be the last.
Should be Sunday. Should be the last one. So yeah.
Yeah. So we have to. What the hell is going on, right? This has been a very hard finals to bet. Max, I'm not sure how you've been doing. Okay.
I've been doing great. I've had a great read on this series, honestly.
So, fellas, this is a 2-parter, right? Like, it's just pretty simple. Who do you think is going to win the finals? But also, like, who do you feel like is winning it right now, right? Because it's 2-2. I'm having a hard time giving an edge to one team or the other right now. So, Makai, let me hear what you're thinking here. Game 5 going into the night. Who do you feel, although the series is tied up, who do you think is winning the series right now?
No one. No one is winning this series.
All right.
This series is just who can play better that specific night. There's no one has the advantage in the series. I think that's why it's such a less entertaining series, because you don't know who could win it. Whereas though back when it was Curry versus LeBron, everyone thought LeBron's gonna win it, and Curry had to upset people. This series is not like, the hype isn't as real as what we've been fed. What we've been fed in the distance. But if I had to pick who has the advantage right now, I'm gonna say Golden State has the advantage. Only on sheer luck that Curry's experience is starting to kick in now. And Game 6 is coming up, so Game 6 Clay has to go off.
Man, you put that so well. Who's got the advantage? No one. And like, I think I was trying to put my finger on it I might just be agreeing with you here, Makai. Digits, I'll let you take it here. Who do you think has the advantage right now, and who's
I
winning?
think that was wonderfully put because I'll say this. I'm feeling great about my Warriors in 6 prediction. The way that I thought it would go is kind of how it went. I had the Celtics getting 1 in Golden State. I thought they'd be up 2-1 after 3 games, and I did think the Warriors would win the next 3 games in a row after that. So that's kind of setting up. I think that if I am correct, we'll see the fatigue for the Celtics start to kick in here. The Celtics went to 7 against Milwaukee and Boston. Golden State, by comparison, went to 4 games, 6 games, 5 games, I think was their playoff run prior to this. So they just have a little bit less wear and tear. And also the later into the series you get, the more experience plays into things. So I think that if you've watched the games, it would be asinine to say that Golden State has been the better team, like no questions asked through 4 games. It would be insane to say that Golden State has a clear, distinct advantage when Draymond Green, a guy who's going to be playing 36+ minutes a game, guaranteed. I mean, let's face it, he's playing hard. He's playing horribly, guys. He's playing really, really bad. He's having. Go ahead.
I want to touch on that. See, what people doesn't see it with Draymond Green is his stats never show.
I'm not talking about stats, man. If you were watching the game, he's not playing well.
I watch his game. I've been watching him here and there. What he's doing is he may be getting a lot of fouls, but his fouls are wear and tearing down the Celtics. Like the last game, Game 4 in Boston, that Draymond had 5 fouls. By the end of that night, by the fourth quarter, Jason Tatum was gassed. After being fouled all game by Draymond, Jason Tatum was gassed. He was pretty much done. Having to deal with him and Andrew Wiggins, he was pretty much done. So I just think Draymond, his numbers don't have to prove anything. It's what he does to other players on the court.
So this has been the big debate of the finals, and I love it. Me and Makai, it seems like fall into the camp of Draymond truthers. Like I am a huge Draymond guy for those reasons. But I will say this: he's having a down series. There's no doubt about that. He is having a down series 100% statistically, and I think one of the biggest things from Draymond that I've seen through these playoffs is his ability to close out. And I feel like at some points he's getting a little tired quicker and not closing out as hard as typically Draymond does. I say all that to say I think he's a net positive for the Warriors, right? Like he's not playing as good as he should be playing. He's still a net positive.
Exactly. I think he's still a net positive because he's very important to that team, but he's not playing. I'm not even talking about numbers. Like I think his defensive impact has not been as high as it typically is, although he is still having impact defensively. And I think offensively, you're not really relying on him for scoring, but his decision-making and playmaking have been way below what he has set as his career standard.
I can agree with that.
And I think overall his quality of his, what he's capable of. Like nobody's expecting Draymond Green to go out there and give you 20 plus, right? But like when he's not making smart passes, when he's shooting when he shouldn't be, like I just feel like he's kind of in his own head mentally when typically he's a very smart player on both ends of the floor. And I think that he's been so cloudy on offense that it kind of has impacted his defensive decision making as well. But he's such an elite defender that even if his level is if he's only half as effective as he normally is, that's still pretty damn effective because the dude is he toes the line between dirty and savvy. And let's be honest, Draymond Green has made some dirty plays in his career. I don't really think he's done anything explicitly dirty this series, but he's certainly been towing the line. Like I think it was Game 3. I mean, he just came out and put on like how to be a weasel masterclass. Like it was incredible. He fouled out with like 20 seconds to go. Like he gave it all, but at some point you can't just foul your way through a game and say you're being a super impactful defender.
Yeah, and I like how Ethan put it here that he's making a difference in defense, but he's Ben Simmons-esque on offense. I think the Warriors would sign up for him to be Ben Simmons-esque on offense. He's not. He's been a little less than Ben Simmons-esque, but I like how you put it, Ethan. Yeah, man, I like this finals talk. It's been weird. It's been tough, and there really hasn't been any flow.
It sucks that these games start at 9 o'clock. I love the late night games, Josh. I think it's an absolute tragedy that these games are starting at 9 o'clock in Boston. The Golden State game's different story. If it's a game on the East Coast, like it's the home team's game. It shouldn't be catered people never have any issues with having West Coast teams start at 5 or 5:30 if that's the case. It shouldn't be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Old man rant.
I'm actually I get it. It's pretty rough, but I will say with this Phillies run, that's why I do like it because now I can get one TV. I don't have to put anything on the laptop. I can focus in on the Phillies. Put the beginning of the Warriors game on, and then once Phillies is over, all the attention on the finals. So, that's my 2 cents, gentlemen. We are going to do a rankings this week, modified format of the rankings. We are going to try to do it a bit more efficiently. This week's rankings.
I hope so.
Yeah, we got a little carried away last week. It's a guess and check. You figure it out along your way. Top 5 fictional sports figures, movies, TV, whatever the hell you want. It's your top 5 fictional sports players list. So you'll rattle off your top 5, and we will comment on each other's lists. Digits, the veteran of the show, you got first hacks at your top 5 list.
Okay, so I have 6 names on here, and I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Coming in at number 5, the greatest athlete of all time, Air Bud.
Whoa! Love it. You'll see that one again.
Professional in every sport known to man. Number 4, Peter LaFleur from Dodgeball, the movie. Just a classic Vince Vaughn role. Just an incredible movie in general. Hard to single out one character, so you got to go main character if you're being.
And that's why no one from that movie made it on my list. It was too hard to pick one.
Fair, that's fair. Number 3, Ricky Bobby, Ballad of Talladega Nights. Just in the only NASCAR related programming I've probably ever enjoyed in my life until I saw Cars 3 on TV a couple of months ago. But just incredible role. Everyone knows it. Here's my double name. I refuse to leave one or the other off of this. The Happy Gilmore and Shooter McGavin combo.
There you go.
It's perfect. They play off each other so well. The "You eat pieces of shit for breakfast" is just an all-time movie quote. And I couldn't leave one off for the other. And then at number 1, Josh, I already know that you have him with me. Rocky Balboa, the greatest underdog story in the world. God in Philadelphia, Lord of 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, and 2020 cinema. I'm Sylvester Stallone. Thank you very much. And what else you got to say?
Man, I almost said no Rocky on the list because you have to put Rocky on the list. You have
to put Rocky 1. You can't even put him on the list. You have to put Rocky 1.
No, I'll be honest. I didn't put Rocky 1 just because we'll get there. But
that's
yeah,
right.
man, that was
put 16 on my list. So who am I to judge?
That was a very solid list. Now you got me thinking: is Ricky Bobby a Mount Rushmore of fictional sports athletes?
This is
right?
This is my personal list.
No, I understand.
He's third for me.
The prompt is personal list, but as we get into the 2020s, I think Ricky Bobby might be a Mount Rushmore. Listen, man, Roy Hobbs and The Natural were great, but come on, man. You really gonna have me believe that the lightning bolt struck the bat, and he hit the light tower? Come on now. Leave that in the 80s. Ricky Bobby might have to move on to the Mount Rushmore. All right, Makai, you're up. You're at bat. Top 5. Let's hear it.
All right, so number 5, I'm gonna go with Calvin Cambridge from Like Mike.
That's a good one.
That is a pull. I forgot about Calvin Cambridge.
From Like Mike. Maybe one of my favorite movies growing up. Calvin. Number 4, I had to go with one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, Bobby Boucher, at number 4. You can't say Adam Sandler sports movie without him.
I could have made a top 5 of just Adam Sandler characters easily. Easily.
It's very easy. Number 3. Hold on 1 second. I just had it up. Oh, number 3, Jackie Moon.
Great pull.
On my honorable mentions. Went with Ricky Bobby over Jackie Moon for Will Ferrell.
Same here.
But I'm on 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Air Bud.
Yep.
Number 1 was Rocky.
Yes, sir.
Number 1 was Rocky. He has to be number 1.
He's got to be, dude. Makai gets it.
All right, fellas, I'm ready to go. By the way, Makai, I don't know if my list might look different. I just completely forgot about Calvin Cambridge. That was one of those movies that got like multiple viewings as a youngin. That was like let me go through a Like Mike week. Like I watch it 2 times. Like it's loved Like Mike. Here we go. Top
Amazing.
5 fictional sports figures. And Mac, I will say my number 5 is a direct relation to our last week's episode. I am already over 3 seasons in to Eastbound and Down, and Kenny Powers comes in and takes slot number 5 here on the fictional sports players. What I didn't expect in Eastbound and Down, that show is like 0.8% about baseball. Like,
oh yeah,
I thought we'd get at least like a 5 or 10% in there about baseball. It's less than 1. There's less than 1% about baseball in that show. Still hilarious. Coming in at number 4 is Ricky Bobby. And Makai, I thought about Jackie Moon, and I was like, you can't have the same actor twice on the list. Got to go Ricky Bobby. And it wasn't easy.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3 is where, we all love him. It's Air Bud, right? Like, come on. We all picked Air Bud. And what I thought about putting Air Bud number 1 because he's a freaking dog. I can watch men and women do amazing sports feats in real life all I want. Only in Hollywood can you see the dog win the World Cup. So that is why Air Bud is on the list. Man, he's the best. Number 2 is Rocky. Come on. And
wow, who did you put at number 1?
I'm
number
intrigued
1
now.
My favorite fictional sports player of all time, Pablo Sanchez.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I respect it.
See?
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
I got you there. Pablo Sanchez.
You got me on the technicality. He's a fictional sports character.
Pablo Sanchez for me it's more than anything. My PlayStation username is Pablo Sanchez. My first Gmail I made that I still use as a burner is Pablo Sanchez. I don't know if I like sports as much as I do if it weren't for picking Pablo Sanchez when I was 4 in backyard sports, and the rest is history. So Pablo Sanchez is my number 1 fictitious athlete there. Those are some damn good lists, gentlemen. I think we've determined.
I got 2 honorable mentions.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
1, Lightning McQueen, and 2, the Mies from Wii Sports.
Damn, those are really good honorable mentions. The Mies, if this was like a Ringer article,
I didn't think of that until you just did Pablo Sanchez, but that was the first thing I thought of was like all the times that I played Wii golf and Wii bowling. Good times.
Yeah, that would be on a top spot if this was like a Ringer article or something like that. There.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But anyway,
I had one honorable mention. Daniel LaRusso from Karate Kid.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My one honorable mention.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Lightning McQueen would have made the list if we were like different-minded people. I feel bad that I didn't even think of it. That's a good one.
We should have excluded Rocky. It would have been a lot more.
Yeah,
we would have all got at least someone else different on there. But hey, we did the right thing.
Especially being a Philadelphia show, like if we were stationed in Minneapolis, like we could have omitted Rocky, but like there was no chance that was going to happen in the Philadelphia show here.
No, sir.
Gents, I think after today, I'm determining we gotta have a real big movie discussion sometime soon. Like, because we did TV shows. Hearing some of these names and thinking about the actual movies, I'm like, oh man, things could get spicy, right? When we do TV shows, we do characters. It's like, haha, that's funny. Like, someone's going to catch some stray bullets when you're putting a movie somewhere. You know what I mean? It gets a little bit more serious. But fellas, nice quick show today. We had a happy thing to talk about with the Phillies. It's hard to really get into the nitty gritty when it's like, hey man, they're just winning. They're just hitting. It's fun stuff.
They lose a week straight and they win a week straight. What else what's there to really talk about?
It's looking good right now for our Phils.
Oh boy, what do we got? Quick check.
0-0. Man on first and second. Bryce is at the plate with 1 out.
All right, yeah, let's get out of here. I want to watch the rest of this inning. Who's got tap outs?
All right, folks. Anyone tapping it out?
I got something. I'll just expand really quick on my plumbing issues earlier. Turns out somehow the motor in my water pump died and subsequently couldn't pump any water, and that happened Tuesday afternoon. Didn't get fixed until Friday, and when the motor got changed out, it stank like no joke. It smelled like a porta potty downstairs in my house. it was bad. Windows open for a day straight, candles lit, both bathroom fans on for hours. I chalked it up as all the power I didn't use for 3 days when I didn't have water. I burned it all back, in one day trying to flush the smell out. But we're all back to normal. Toilets work, doesn't stink. This is your friendly reminder not to take running water for granted.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I always get so angry because it's like not your fault. You're like, I shouldn't have to deal with this. Landlord, come live in my house. Like you're doing this.
That's the issue with I tweeted this. This is what sucks about owning a house, Josh. You can't just text the guy that you exchanged a couple emails with and send a security deposit to and have them figure it out. You got to do it yourself, and it is not nearly as fun.
Yeah, man. One day, man. That day, I'm sure that day will
nice
come.
having that person to blame. If I was renting, that could never be directly somebody's fault. It just burned out. I literally just got a kind of a faulty motor. My house is a year old. I'd be happy to blame that on the random landlord that I've never met in my life. Exactly. If that were the case. So enjoy your running water tonight. Don't take it for granted.
We love a good scapegoat around here. Makai, you got a tap out?
Shout out Adam Sandler for the new movie on Netflix. Also, it was an amazing movie. Shout out.
I haven't seen it yet, but I have to watch it. I haven't had the chance to watch it yet, but it does look really good.
Amazing movie.
Man, it looks good. I went to the gate. I went to the yard on Friday with a few of the high school lads, and I came back to the apartment after having a few drinks, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll watch Hustle," and I was out in 15 minutes. So I got to get back to that one. But I saw a Johnson Hardwick sweatshirt in it and was like, "Oh yeah!" And then I was waking up and was like, "Oh man, what happened there?" So in play runs double Bryce Harper. Let's go, Phils. Fellas, my tap out as someone who is trying to burst in the sports media world. Send emails, and just don't freaking stop sending emails. Oh my goodness. So many people I've kept emailing and I haven't heard anything. This one guy, I emailed him once a week for 5 weeks. He finally responded today just saying "Hey man, sorry, nothing right now." And I was like, you know what? I win. I got you to respond. So fellas, just keep sending. Just be relentless. You may feel annoying like I do all the time, but it'll be worth it. Fellas, good stuff today. I'm ready to start working on my movie rankings, however. And real quick, Digits, we got to play for tonight's finals game 5.
I honestly haven't even looked yet. I would be more inclined just to lean towards the Warriors. And if it's still floating around that 214 number, it's 210.5, it says. I will take the over on that because I'm a brave man. And I'll always take my chances with free throws. Will get me there.
I am with you on both sides there. Gents, a pleasure as always. I'm getting out of here. I'm watching this Phil's game. Well, we are brought to you by my new Philly, where something's always new and everything's
always Philly.
We'll catch you next Monday. 6 more straight. 6 more? 7 more? We'll figure it out.
However many games they play until next Monday.
However many games. We're not losing again. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.